The title of the book that I am reviewing is Creative Scene. Spark your creativity and powerfully present your ideas. The author is Sam Harrison. Sam Harrison is an in-demand speaker and popular author who writes and speaks about topics relating to creativity and presentation skills. Sam also works as a teacher in Portfolio Center's Graduate Studies program and regularly contributes his knowledge of creativity and presentations to companies such as Fast Company, How Design Magazine, Idea Connection Limited, among other blogs and publications. He has previously written three other books on creativity: Zine, 5 Steps and 101 Tips for Creativity on Command; Idea Spotting, How to Find Your Next Idea; and Idea Selling, Successfully Pitch Your Creative Ideas to Bosses, Clients, and Other Decision Makers. Sam draws his own suggestions for creativity from his previous experiences as a freelancer in creative communications with companies as the NFL, Major League Baseball, Hallmark, American Express, Merrill Lynch, and Hasbro. One major reason I have for choosing this book is I wanted to learn different approaches to developing creative ideas that would prove beneficial to me when working as a graphic designer. Another reason is I also like learning different ideas and processes of graphic design from watching several LinkedIn videos from my previous graphic design courses. The overall topic of this book is about the creative zine, which the author Sam Harrison describes as a type of realm that designers, marketers, product developers, event planners, freelancers, and teachers find themselves when they think of creative ideas. At the beginning of the book, Sam lists three types of zones creative people find themselves in. The zombie zone, which developers find themselves stuck in a bit of an antiquated zone, where they consequently come up with the same old ideas using the same old methods. The zigzag zone, which developers find themselves going in several different directions instead of a straight linear zone when developing ideas. Then there is a zone that is the focus of this book, the creative zine zone, in which developers are filled with more passion and enthusiasm when presenting ideas, and people understand and embrace them. The book then lists 5 important factors of creative zine: explore, experimentation, excel, examine, and express. The rest of the book then goes over each of these factors and how they help creative people with generating fresh ideas. Just like the book, I'll highlight each of these factors in detail so the audience can get an idea of how each of them contribute to giving ideas or inspirations to creatives. Explore. A major part of developing ideas is curiosity. According to Sam Harrison, curiosity is a straight fire for creativity. By exploring, you bring insights and inspiration to imagination. While exploring for ideas, train yourself to stop, look, and listen wherever you're at: work, home, the grocery store, the park, the bank, the clinics, etc. Take notice of the people, places, and things. Act as if your eyes are a camera and your ears a microphone, and capture what you see and hear around you to take notes and get inspirations for ideas. Like how food and water keep our bodies healthy and productive, curiosity and exploration are nourishments that help keep creativity fresh and engaging. Without either of them, creativity becomes dull and unresponsive. There are 4 ways to help boost your creativity. Number 1, be playful. As kids, we enjoy being silly, asking questions, playing, or daydreaming. But as we grew older, we were taught to be more responsible by stopping these behaviors. However, as Sam Harrison puts it, maintaining creativity requires a bit of childlike behavior. Not childish, but childlike. We have to shed some inhibitions, ask simple questions, dwell in daydreams, laugh at ourselves. So don't be afraid to be playful while at work. Actually laugh with team members or ask simple questions. Add a visual touch of playfulness to your workspace. Number 2, be generous. Sam Harrison makes an analogy of creativity being like a team sport, and that when our team members share ideas, we also need to be there to receive them, like how someone catches a fastball pitcher's pitches. Number 3, be courageous. There's always that certain feeling of dread whenever we're presenting ideas at a meeting, because we fear our team members will criticize or reject our ideas. However, we must also muster up courage when presenting ideas. As Sam Harrison states, it takes courage to present ideas for the world to critique and possibly reject. but payoffs outweigh risks. Number 4, be persistent. Picking up the idea is only the beginning of the creative process. Developing the idea takes time and energy, as well as several different courses such as starts and stops, thought and action, presentations, and negotiations. So keep developing that great idea instead of letting it go to waste, and take your time with fleshing it out. Along with 4 methods to boost creativity, the section on exploring equally provides 4 benefits to curiosity. Number 1, curiosity opens doors. Being curious often opens doors to many possibilities and new discoveries. This can even help us with finding our future careers and leading us down the path toward that career by taking courses relating to that degree, working towards getting a master's or bachelor's degree, doing an internship or job shadow a professional in their work environment to get an idea of what the career is like. As Walt Disney said, we keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. Number 2, curiosity inspires creative living. Curiosity can lift us out of our old mundane lives and move us into unfamiliar but interesting territory where life becomes more exciting and energetic. By exploring territories we've never set foot in, we start to become more creative, and they help feed our creativity with new ideas. Number 3, curiosity looks ahead. By continuing to be more curious about people, asking them more and more questions, you can see how your ideas will help wants and needs from the present even into the future. Looking to the future even helps you to reframe problems, according to Sam's friend, Brian Collins, founder of Collins Brand Experience Design. As he said, enough with problem solving. Start with problem seeking. Seeking is leading. It uses a combination of aggressive curiosity, loads of imagination, and empathy, and it leverages deep and broad background. Number 4, curiosity finds answers. Being curious about other businesses and professions help us discover some solution to similar problems that we face and borrow them to help us fix them. An example Sam Harrison provides is a product designer at Matson, a food development firm looking at how another food developer adds a sort of powder or sugar that intensified the flavor for their low-fat cheese tortilla chips to find the solution of adding this weird flavor to a low-calorie strawberry cookie. Experiment. Experimenting is another advantage to finding ideas. Several effective ways to experiment that Sam Harrison covers in this section are sharing ideas, working with people who think differently and have different ideas, and having sessions where everyone shares their ideas and supports them instead of just one idea, making some mistakes, having a safe habitat for generating and experimenting with unsafe ideas, and creating something just for ourselves in order to learn what's inside of us and help grow our souls. There are several methods of experimentation that can really help keep new ideas generating and focus on our creativity. Although people can be afraid of experimenting because of the worry of how others will receive their ideas, the most important thing to do is to dial down doubt. Handling doubt is just doing the work than listening to that low voice of anxiety or your fears telling you that you can't. There are 3 methods to dialing down doubt. Number 1, ask questions. Write down the doubt you're having and ask yourself, is it true? Can I handle this? And what are the best and worst that can happen? Number 2, nix negativity. Instead of filling your head with the doubts of other people that don't support your creative thinking or provide solutions, nix that negativity people give you. As Sam Harrison said it best, friends who aren't friends with our creativity probably aren't truly friends. Number 3, confirm and create. Look over some of your previous work that you've done to give yourself the confirmation of creativity. That confirmation will give you less doubt and reassure you that you can still come up with fresh and intriguing ideas. And that boost of reassurance will get you back to work on creating something, and you'll be much happier and more energized than doubtful or anxious. Other ways to dial down doubt is to beware of naysayers and stop fretting and judging and just do it. When you dial down any doubts you have, then you'll be motivated to experiment. However, while experimenting, it's important to set some boundaries as they can help strengthen your creativity. Here are 5 boundaries for boosting creativity that creative people can experiment with. Number 1. Limit technology. Step away from screens from time to time in order to find solutions that are more accessible than searching the internet and getting so many solutions. Number 2. Don't do lists. For every creative project, make a list of what you don't want to do. According to Sam Harrison, if we know what we don't want to do, it's easier to focus on what we want to do. Number 3. Cap resources. Self-imposed restraints sometimes help us focus on creativity than finding more resources, as too many resources can overload or overburden than help. Number 4. Allocate creative time. Have specific times or a schedule for creative thinking and doing. Number 5. Establish deadlines. When you aren't given deadlines, set your own. As Sam Harrison says, their pressures can demand focus, spark spontaneity, and drive delivery. Exhale. Exhaling and pausing are helpful ways to help give your brain a break between generating ideas and examining them. By giving yourself a pause to do leisurely activities like walking or watching a sunset, your brain can provide solutions to problems or generate new ideas. According to Mark Beeman, a professor at Northwestern University's Cognitive Neuroscience program, sometimes this happens when you didn't even know you were thinking about the problem. It's as if a light turns on and you suddenly see an answer to a problem that had you stumped. The section of the book also provides ways to use pausing for more potent creativity. Space out. Stare a walk and let your mind wander. As Dr. Jonathan Schooler, a researcher at the University of California at Santa Barbara, stated in an interview, mind wandering seems to be very useful for planning and creative thoughts. Hideout. Find some solitude and let go. Seek out a highway where you can occasionally retreat for a few moments of silence. It can be found at home or at work. Look up. Lift your eyes up from your electronics and look around and take your time observing your surroundings. Find other things to look at other than your screen, like a window or a ceiling or a fountain or a tree or a lake. Walk around. Make a few moments where you can go outside and walk. Write down. Whenever you're walking or observing your surroundings, keep a notebook or a journal, and when something captures your eyes that might seem interesting, write it down and capture it. Besides taking long pauses, short pauses can also be influential. There are 3 ways of taking short pauses. Climb stairs instead of taking the elevator. Have a 20-20-20 plan in which you gaze at something about 20 feet away for 20 seconds for every 20 minutes. And practice some basic yoga stretches in your office. Another essential method of exhaling is balancing your digital life with your real life. Take some breaks from electronic devices and actually communicate with friends, colleagues, and family and observe more surroundings and get inspiration. Examine. Examining is about receiving ideas from others. In this section of the book, Sam Harrison states, creative people can't succeed without receivers who listen to ideas, offer encouragement, and provide feedback. There are 3 approaches to receive ideas and make it accessible for people that deliver them to you. Receive ideas with cheers. Offer encouragement to people early on when they first present their ideas to you. Receive ideas with respect. Instead of adding our ideas or suggestions for refinement to people's ideas, actually show some respect for them so they know you support them. Receive ideas with attention. Be physically or mentally available when receiving ideas from people so they can be encouraged to keep their creativity flowing. Other methods of how to receive ideas from other people that Sam Harrison covers are spot checking your attitude and mindset before accessing ideas, using the knob when first hearing ideas, avoiding short-sighted blindness by examining the then and there in order to help you visualize the future value of someone's ideas, avoiding soft or risk-free, gooey or self-serving, and fast or on the spot approaches to ideas, letting the ones presenting ideas take control in deciding which details will make big differences in their creative endeavors in order to keep them alive, and providing constructive and civil critiques. There are 7 tips for providing critiques to team members. Tee up, presenter explains the why of the idea. Put up, presenter gives the what and how of the idea. Shut up, others quietly listen as the idea is presented. Ask up, others question the presenter on the idea. Open up, open floor for conversation. Measure up, check idea against goals. Wrap up, gather thoughts, next steps, and dates. Following these methods for examining ideas will help keep workplaces stable and idea generating sessions friendly, focused, and free flowing. Express. This is where you're presenting your own ideas to decision makers or members of your creative team and trying to sell them to them in a similar manner to a sales pitch. However, when selling ideas, it is essential to develop and strengthen your selling skills if you want to convince your audience and have them approve your ideas. Regarding this fact, Sam Harrison wrote, "We tend to have the baseless notion that ideas should somehow sell themselves, and that selling is, well, a bit unseemly." Selling skills will help boost your spirits and build respect with decision makers. While it's important to prepare for selling ideas by strengthening skills as timing, controlling presentation flow, looking for hazards in a room, being attentive to facial expressions, body language, and hand gestures, calming anxieties or doubts by self-talking to yourself, and handling objections and disruptions, it's also important to learn tips that will also be a great help in strengthening your selling skills. Selling tip number 1. Make it their baby. Involve decision makers or team members in the development of your ideas. By doing this, you have a stronger chance of selling your idea and gaining their approval. Selling tip number 2. See through their eyes. It's important to think how decision makers understand your idea when you present them to get a good insight into their perspective. When you put yourself in their shoes, you'll know how their understanding is not the same as yours, so you can understand them better. Selling tip number 3. Learn it, forget it, and play it. Instead of immediately jumping into the presentation, learn and practice your presentation. This helps to ease any fears you have before presenting and smoothly present it to your decision makers. Selling tip number 4. Leave chaos behind. Instead of presenting your ideas the same way you came up with them, pitch them with confidence and with a clear, logical flow. The route you took to come up with your ideas are full of doubts, detours, and doublebacks. Selling tip number 5. Pause before starting. Pause before you present. Breathe. Lock eyes with audience members. Capture attention. Build anticipation. Then begin. Selling tip number 6. Stand tall, talk short. It is best to keep your speeches shorter when presenting than droning on and on. Selling tip number 7. Toss handouts. Instead of giving handout sheets to the decision makers or teammates, toss them out as they'll just skim through them instead of turning them in sync with your presentation and look only for the project costs. Selling tip number 8. Bring leave behinds. One tip that will surely help sell your ideas successfully is to bring leave behinds for decision makers to review after your presentation. Leave behinds can help decision makers understand your ideas better than your presentation so they can sell them to their bosses. Also augment your leave behinds with photos, prototypes, examples, and case studies so your idea will really sell successfully. Selling tip number 9. Sell with stories. Sell your presentation with stories as they are the fundamental components to successfully selling your ideas to decision makers and your teammates. Stories also bring more life to your ideas and lure decision makers toward fulfillment of security, recognition, happiness, and other human needs. Selling tip number 10. Create magical moments. Don't be afraid to sell your ideas with a little bit of show business, almost like you're performing magic tricks and convincing the decision makers or teammates the values of your idea. Even after giving your presentation to successfully sell your ideas to decision makers and teammates, don't fail to plan a follow-up. There are only a few tips to help you follow up your presentation. Inform. Before leaving the presentation, review actions and duties. Inscribe. Write out what happened in the presentation. Involve. Review presentation with team and determine steps. Stop. Pause before jumping into action. Salute. Send thank you messages to decision makers. Summarize. Provide decision makers or teammates with actions, duties, and times. Now you know each of the 5 factors of a creative zine. Explore, experiment, exhale, examine, and express. The next time you zoom into your creative scene, be sure to use these insights as it can really help you successfully generate and sell new and straightforward ideas when developing creative designs. The most important idea I took away from reading the book is that explore, experimentation, excel, examine, and express, or the 5 E's as Sam Harrison refers to them, are just ways of generating ideas and are not the way to generate ideas. There are other methods or solutions to help with generating ideas. I also learned that new ideas come into fruition when pausing or taking breaks, so it helped me not try to force my brain to think up creative ideas and just let it have a break so it'll come to me naturally or so I can get inspirations from observing my surroundings. I'll try out a few of the 5 E's in the future, such as exhale and express. I would love to pause and give my brain a break between generating ideas and examining them, and try some of the methods of express, like the 10 selling tips to learn how to successfully sell my ideas to decision makers. The latter will prove useful when presenting new designs for logos, brands, labels, and covers to clients when working in the graphic design field.